hope is that we all get it. Don't give in to the pain, just keep living, cause
got dreams I'm striving for. So I'm gonna live higher. I'm gonna live higher. I got dreams I'm striving.
What's going on, guys? I'm super excited today. I have a special guest. I call him a heavy hitter. He's a big-time wholesaler out of Phoenix, Carlos Reyes. Before I let him introduce himself, I want to publicly say how grateful and appreciative of what Carlos has done for me. He took the time out to do this interview. I see a lot of guys that are in this space. They say that they're very approachable, that you can reach out to them and ask for advice. And, but I can tell you that from experience from Carlos, he is that guy. He speaks, he says that in his videos, and he's that in real life. I sent him a message regarding this interview, and the first thing he said was, it took like 10 minutes. He said, "Let's do it, brother. Let's set it up." He didn't hesitate. He just said, "Let's do it." That's a true story. And I just want to publicly say, I really am appreciative. He said he is that kind of guy, and he proved it to me. So when I sent that message, I had a little bit of hesitation. I didn't think he was going to do it. But, it does show that he is exactly what he said he is. So
thank you, brother. Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you. And you know what, man? I want to say something in regards to that subject or that matter. Excuse me, but I got my family here. We're going to go watch the we're going to go walk the Santa Monica Pier after this. This is my baby girl's weekend. She's my 6-year-old, and we brought her out here because she's a Cowboys fan. I'm a Cowboys fan. Wish us the best, tomorrow. Actually, you're not going to wish us the best because you're a Green Bay fan. See, this is my baby girl.
How you doing?
Say hi. Hi. So, so thank you so much for those encouraging, positive words, man. Baby girl, can you turn off the TV for a little bit? So the first thing that I want to say about that, man, is I feel like a lot of people, they forget where they come from. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is about that. But, if you are a true servant of the Lord, the Lord, he exalts humility. If you are a humble person, if you're a humble person and you are a servant of God, like, you will always have everything that you've ever wished for, desired, as long as you keep them in your heart and as long as you execute on your gifts, the God-given talents that you already have. It took me a very long time to figure out, that I was blessed with certain gifts, and I'm not going to discourage people from being in corporate America because I was there for a long time, but I was using my gifts to make somebody else a lot of money, multiple 6 figures a month for a very long time until, one day I just kind of, decided to take a risk and take a shot and roll the dice on myself, but I'll be honest with you, that courage came from God because as you know, bro, that when we're coming up, man, like we're programmed a certain way, unfortunately we're programmed, the way that we come up, right? So our parents, we're all trying to break generational wealth, a curse of generational wealth. We're all trying to break that because I'll be honest with you, my mom was dirt poor. I was dirt poor growing up. My grandma was dirt poor. Her grandma was dirt poor. So it has to start somewhere. Someone has to put it all on the line and take that risk. You know what I mean?
Right. I love that you said that because I think in this space that we're in, let's just be frank about it. There's not a lot of minority influencers or people, authorities that are doing numbers like you are. So when I see someone like you, it seems a lot more relatable, attainable, more within reach because we kind of, like you said, we come from the same sort of culture.
We're cut from the same cloth.
Right, exactly. So I do like that. When I see somebody like you, I get inspired because I'm like, if he did it, he's kind of like me. I'm very relatable.
I always say that too. You always hear me say that, and I mean that. I mean that because, see, success isn't something that's just created for like a select few. It's honestly attainable by everybody who's really willing to commit, focus, make the sacrifice, and not give up. Because the part of that process is not giving up, because you and I both know, man, it's easier to give up than it is to continue on that growth, you know, that hard knock, you know, that school of hard knocks, as they call it, because it's tough, man. Like entrepreneurship, it's like someone throws you out with no jacket in the cold, you know, and you got to go and you got to find your own clothing, and you can only, you know, eat what you kill, right? You got to go out and do some hunting, and that's all. I only get to eat what I kill every single month, you know?
Right. That's definitely true. So let's kind of back up. Give us a quick summary, you know, kind of what made you get into real estate, and then how'd you partner up with Sal, and then how you guys first started, and then how you guys were able to scale that quickly.
Okay. If you look at, have you seen the Real Estate Disruptors podcast that we did?
I did.
The new one.
Yeah, the one you did it in the that location.
The new Real Estate Disruptor.
Okay. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I think I listened to that one.
It's a new one. I believe it was early January of this year,
okay.
And I'll be honest with you. So this question was asked there too, and it was very simple. We said, hey, look, my story is just like anybody else's story, maybe even worse. Born in Mexico, brought here illegally. You know, had my mom was honestly, she worked in the fields literally in California in the 80s, and she got amnesty and she became a resident, and she started my paperwork in 97. I didn't become a citizen until 2012.
Wow.
Right? I became a resident in 2005, but I didn't become a citizen until 2012. You can only imagine like all the hardship, you know, that we had to go through. Imagine it's twice as hard when you're not born here, believe it or not. You know, it's twice as hard. Some people take the smallest things for granted, like having a social security number that you can work with, right? Honestly. So yeah, so my story is a very short one, a very brief one. You know, like I said, born in Mexico, super poor. We didn't even have a block home in Mexico, to be honest with you. My mom fought her way tooth and nail in the United States to bring me and my brother over as a single mom, didn't speak English, et cetera, et cetera. And we were poor most of our lives. If we ever needed a television, my single mom at the time, she's still single, but my single mother, she would have to literally work 2 jobs, and the only way we can afford any kind of furniture or televisions was a spot called Rent-A-Center. Have you ever heard of Rent-A-Center?
Yeah. Yep.
She would, all right, I'm gonna get you guys a TV. You know, I'll get you a 27-inch Toshiba, and she would make payments on that every week. And okay, guys, I'm gonna get 1 couch, make payments on that, and you know, the list goes on and on. My mom never made more than $8.25 an hour, to be honest with you. And then I was always an entrepreneur, even at a young age. You know, I was the guy that, you know, in Mexico was bagging groceries, you know, selling door to door bread and things like that as a kid. And then once I came here in my teenage years, I was the guy that, you know, it probably wasn't the safest thing to do, but I was the guy that jumped in that white van and sold candy for somebody door to door. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So imagine that, right? Imagine you have that programming of a hustler when you're a child, and then unfortunately, it's so easy to clock in and clock out and be comfortable at a job. So that, you know, that kind of rewired me in a bad way, actually, right? That rewired me in a bad way because I was already this hustler, right? And then I started, you know, thriving in corporate America, and then I'm like, oh my God, okay, I'm making decent money. I get a 4 week, you know, I get 4 weeks vacation. I get, you know, all these little carrots that just got, you know, they would dangle on me. Oh my God, I have insurance, you know, I have a 401k, blah, blah, blah. And then it's like, oh my God, I got a 10-cent raise this year. I got a 15-cent raise this year. I was just, at one point, bro, I was just surviving. And I came to the realization when I had my first daughter in 2012, because I didn't start my road onto entrepreneurship in 2014. And then 2015 is when I actually got some traction going. That's when I really got some traction going. But I realized that when I had my daughter, I'm like, oh my God, if my daughter at 16 years old asks me, hey, you know, she's going to high school and she says, Daddy, you know, can you get me a car? And she's a good student and she's a good person. and she's responsible, and I couldn't do that for her, that would have really broke my heart. So now I'm looking to avoid that, God willing, and here I am. Sal and I met in 2013. We became best friends. And then in 2014, we said, hey, he said, I like the way you hustle. You're a hustler, man. Like, you work 6 days a week. You work 12-hour days. He's like, oh my God, he's Arabic, right? And he's like, I've never really met somebody else like that. And he's like, we should do something together. And at first, man, we were looking into like trying to start a car wash, a coffee shop, whatever. And then I said, you know what, man, I've always, like, one of my dreams was always to be a real estate investor. And he's like, well, what do you know about real estate? And I said, I don't know much about real estate, but give me 2 months and I'm going to find out a lot. And man, I started hitting all those DMs that I get nowadays. I was that dude 3 years ago.
Right.
And then, I'll be honest with you. 2015, we got some stuff going. 2016, we got a lot going. 2017 was crazy. We did thank God, multi-million dollar company. We created it, a national cash offer. 2018 was, we missed our goal by 200,000, and our goal was a pretty hefty goal of several million. And now we have an operation we have 6 acquisition managers. We have 4 lead managers. We have a disposition manager. We have an administrative manager. We have a transaction coordinator. We have a chief marketing officer. I mean, we build a nice, little company on the investment and wholesaling side. And we're in 8 markets. And we do 99% of our deals virtual, literally over the phone and DocuSign, right? And then in 2018, what really did it for us was we kept running into these bad service providers. And if I needed a cold caller for 6 months, we were training these Filipinos, and it was awful. So we created a cold calling company. We created a data company. We created an automation, where you can get Podio and macros. And we created a digital company where you can get pay-per-click and SEO and web development. We created 13 companies. So now we have 14 because we had national cash offer. We created 13 companies in 2018, and it's been a hell of a ride, man. We put it on the line. So we put everything on the line. We put our time on the line. We sacrificed, time with our children, our families, our friends, our loved ones. We put our health on the line. You name it. We just went all in. Literally went all in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I love that saying you guys got going, all in, because in entrepreneurship, that's what you got to do. You got to be all in or all in or nothing. You know what I mean?
Part-time effort gives you part-time results.
Exactly. Can you talk about how you mentioned that you did okay, I think 2016, and then you started to gain some traction. What do you think, or tell me what was the biggest difference that from 2016 to 2017 and 2018? Like what were the things?
So it's very simple. Very simple. In 2016, it was just me and Sal. Okay. And I went to an event hosted by one of my great friends. His name is Rafael Vargas out of Tampa Bay, Florida. And this guy hosted a small 25 people or attendees hot seat event for $5,000 a person, right? Kind of like what we do now, right? But Sal and I went to this event, and we went from just me and Sal to we saw this guy that had built somewhat of a company. He had like an acquisition or 2 acquisition guys. He had an integrator. Yeah, and that really sparked something in me and Sal. We're like, hey man, I think we should definitely redirect ourselves to trying to build a company instead of just me and you doing everything. Like, let's try to build a company. So at one point we can start working on the business instead of in the business, instead of just being a glorified employee. Let's try to build this company out. So that really did it for me and Sal when we went to this event and saw what could be. So now you put some structure, you put some systemization, and you put these two crazy hustlers, like out of control, we're willing to work from sun up to until our eyes close, then this is what you get. You put that recipe together, this is what you get. You get over 20,000, 30,000 hours invested into our craft in over a 3-year span. So, you become an expert at your craft after 10,000 hours invested into your craft. Well, imagine Sal and I, just working 60, 70 hours a week for the last 3 years together. The compound effect alone allows us to just surpass so many other people in the industry.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like, I know you guys you were kind of gaining some traction for 3 years, but people look at that success, but they forget all the struggles you guys had to go through, all the, like you mentioned, all those hours.
Let me tell you this. I've put out bandit signs. I've knocked on doors. I've cold called. I've closed deals on the acquisition side. I've administered, or I was a transaction coordinator for my own company. I dispositioned the deals for my own company. You see what I'm saying? Like, people don't understand that I have wore every single hat in my company before I was able to actually before Sal and I were able to build the company we have now. So people cannot undermine the fact that they see me now with like this very fruitful life, right? It's very fruitful life, right? You got the Hublots and the Rolls Royces and the houses. They see it now, but they don't understand that, in my world, you eat what you kill. And they didn't see a lot of these people didn't see me hunt. You see, they didn't see me hunt. They only see me kill now, but they didn't see me hunt early on. My family did. My fiance we have 2 kids together, and she used to write handwritten bandit signs for me to bust my ass every Friday at 11 p.m. You see what I'm saying? Literally, I couldn't even afford the bandit signs. So she used to actually have to handwrite these bandit signs with the black Sharpie. I mean, everybody in my house was just high off these markers. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I like to hear that, because I think, like you said, people look at where you're at now, but they forgot where, how you started, what it took to get where you're at. So I do appreciate you mentioning that. So listen,
I like your hat, by the way, bro.
Thank you. And actually, now that you mentioned that, I do like, another thing I want to point out that I do like. It might not be everybody's cup of tea, but I do like that you're always giving glory to God. Me as a Christian,
I have to.
I love that you're very open about that. You're not, you don't keep it and you don't share that. You do share that, but I really like that you're very open about that. So
I'll be honest. I'll be honest with you. God didn't give me my success because I wasn't ready for it. Until he felt that I was ready, mentally and spiritually, that's when he started blessing me. Because think about it this way: if God would have, when I was 21, 22, whatever, 19, 18, whatever you want to call it, and I wasn't mature mentally and spiritually, I don't know if I would be in the situation I'm in now. Because a lot of people, if they're not ready to receive, if they don't have the wisdom to go with those fruits, they can literally ruin themselves. They can ruin themselves, right? Because it could be too much to overcome, too much to bear. Think of those people that win the lottery. They say that within a 3 to 5 year span, most of those people go broke, right? And I believe that God's timing is there for, it's strategical. It's there for a reason. And I feel like when it comes to tying all these things in with God, I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. It's not everybody's cup of tea.
Right.
But you know what? I don't know them shit. God has me here and they don't. And my whole family, we all go to church and we're very big about spirituality and energy and stuff like that. God was able to convert most of my family into entrepreneurs. 99% of my internal family now doesn't have jobs. They all work for one of our companies, so
That's awesome.
that's a blessing. So God willing, man, like honestly, bro, like if you don't have peace of mind, like if you don't have God in your heart and in your mind, you can't have peace of mind. And if you don't have peace of mind, you can't be happy. And if you don't have happiness, then you will never be successful, because I know a lot of people that are multi-millionaires that are not happy. And if they're not happy, they don't have peace of mind. And if they don't have peace of mind, they're not blessed. And if they're not blessed, then they're not successful.
That's awesome. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about tactical stuff, things that are working for you now. So what kind of marketing channels are you guys doing? Are you guys, I know you talk about that you guys
we do it all.
Okay.
We do it all, bro. I mean, you name it, we do it. We pay-per-click. We spent $500,000 on pay-per-click, Google pay-per-click last year on nationalcashoffer.com. We do SEO, search engine optimization. We write over 100 articles for our website, you know, on the organic side. We have 10 content writers. We haven't done bandit signs since I stopped doing them, right? So, but we do, you know, mailers, ringless voicemail, cold calling. I mean, we do it all.
Okay. Do this for me, Carlos. So I think I would benefit from this, and I think the people who watch this would benefit from this. So let's pretend you lost everything you had, right? But you still had the knowledge, and you had to start from scratch. And you have 90 days to make as much money as you can. Lay out the blueprint. What strategies would you do? You know, and break that down for us.
Easy. So I want you to know one thing, man. Once you've already, I guess, programmed a formula or a blueprint up here,
right,
that will forever stay with you. Okay. That alone is worth that's more valuable than any worldly possession or any money in the bank. This right here, what you have up here, because this is what creates all that. That doesn't create this. So if I were to start all over again and I had the budget that I had back then, when I was just doing bandit signs and door knocking, this is what I would do. I would drive for dollars. I would drop bandit signs. I would do ringless voicemails to those properties. I would cold call those properties. I would door knock those properties. And if I had a little bit of money, I would go into listsource.com. I would go to ReboGateway.com, and I would select whatever I could afford. I would skip trace those properties, those prospects with need-to-skip.com, which is credit bureau data, regulated credit bureau data, need-to-skip.com. I would skip trace those people, and like I said, I would drop ringless voicemails at 5 cents a delivery through leadblastpro.com. I would cold call those people. You can cold call yourself, right? You can use Mojo, Whitetail, or allindialer.com, which provides ZenCall. The ZenCall, you have to understand, we've done Mojo, Whitetail. ZenCall is like those two softwares on steroids 10 times. So that is exactly what I would do. And I would get my first deal, and I would keep like probably 10%, 20% max to myself, and I would dump it all back into marketing. I mean, yeah, exactly, to my business.
Okay. Talk about ZenCall, because I'm actually gonna look into that, because I do want to start focusing a lot on cold calling this year and ringless voicemails. So if you could talk about what's the difference between Mojo and ZenCall, and why should people get into that or use that service?
So yeah, so ZenCall has built-in programming. See, this is a software that kept evolving. It kept evolving. Mojo never really evolved. ZenCall, you can do a 3-to-1 dialer, but with a higher connection time. So if you have a higher connection time, then you get to talk to more people. And if you get to talk to more people, you get to attempt to produce more leads. Okay. Now, the other thing about ZenCall is you can have a 12-to-1 dialer. You can have a 10-to-1 dialer. Now, my recommended dialer structure is a 3-to-1 dialer. That's what's going to produce the most results for you. And then, again, it's just way more dependable. And then the other beautiful part about it is when you call, it has these it's called DIDs. It's phone numbers. And the phone numbers whenever you're calling like Philadelphia, it'll call with the Philadelphia area code. If you're calling California, it'll call with the California area code, and Arizona, and so on and so on and so on. it is a huge advantage, and it definitely the top in the industry.
Okay. And so as far as goals for 2019, do you want to share like what are your company goals for 2019? What are you guys looking to do?
I'm looking to one of our companies. We have a recycling company called inventorycity.com. I want that company to do 10 million. I want nationalcashoffer.com to do 10 million. I want dineropormicasa.com to do 2 million. That's on the Hispanic side. I want offercabana.com, which is a new product we are bringing out. We've already raised 28 million for that, and from a private guy. I want that to do 10 million. And then I want all our other magnusdigital.com to do 2 million. It's a pay-per-click company, right? And it's a digital company. And I want all the other smaller, all the other companies that are the smaller companies, investorautomation.com, cashbuyersplus.com, et cetera, to maybe do like 1 million. So I just want growth, man. That's it. I just want to see growth. That's it. I want to see growth. I want to see growth in every single way. Like, I'll give you an example. We just launched this recycling company, inventorycity.com. We already have a shipping guy. We're already buying product. We have a sales guy. We have a COO already involved. So I want growth. That's it, man. Honestly, like, I don't give a shit about the money, man. What frustrates me is the lack of growth. The money. So you have to understand, money chases growth. Money chases success. You know what I mean? You don't have to focus and worry about the money. Focus on progressing. Focus on self-growth, right? Mentally, spiritually, because your exterior world is a reflection of what's going on in here and here. So that's what I want. And most importantly, man, I just want to continue to try to be happy. Like, I want to continue to love my family. I want to continue to serve people as much as I can. Like, that stuff means the most to me.
Yeah, I can tell you get, from afar. I can tell you do get some fulfillment. You do get fulfillment when you answer people's questions, when you know that you've helped them in some way.
Yeah.
Guys, I've been sending Carlos messages. Our schedules weren't matching up, and he would always respond, "What day can work for you?" And I'm like, "Oh, this day can't work for you." So I know for a fact he's very, like I said in the beginning of the call, he's very into helping people. He doesn't shy away from giving back.
Thank you, bro.
And another thing also, guys, watch his IG videos. Listen, I bought courses. All the stuff that are in those courses, he gives away for free. He doesn't charge it for free. I've spent hundreds of dollars, thousands. Trust me, I know what I'm talking about.
A lot of people in the industry actually dislike us, to be honest with you, because we just give away the farm. I mean, we give away the farm, and we don't care, man. Like, there's enough out there for everybody. There's enough market share for everybody, like, we have an abundant mentality. Sal, I want you to know, Sal's a Catholic from Iraq, which is very rare. That's like 3% from there. And he's a servant of God. And honestly, bro, like, we both grew so much spiritually last year. And, is it a coincidence that, like, we had our biggest year, right? With growth as far as like financially, but is it a coincidence that we had our biggest growth year, spiritually? No, it's not a coincidence, man. I'm sitting here telling you, I don't care. It's not about religion. It's about relationship. I don't care if you're a Buddhist, if you're a Muslim, if you're a Christian. You just have to have a relationship with God or Allah or whoever it is that you serve, or grow here. Just be a good person in here and work on your spirituality. And because what happens is you attract what you are. The kind of energy that you put out into the world is what you receive back. So that's just why we're so abundant, man. Like, we just try to service. I wish there was 10 of me, bro, and I can answer thousands of messages on Instagram. I promise to God, bro, like, I wish I can answer every single message. And I'll tell you what, something that I'm going to do, and hopefully, God willing, I continue to always answer your messages, because have you noticed that I have such little time that I answer your messages with voice?
Yeah, I did notice that.
Right? So what I'm going to do, I mean, you'll know if it's me because I'm going to drop a voice, but I'm going to hire somebody, an assistant, to actually give back to all these people, give back to all these people that are looking to grow. And I want them to, I want this person to literally get back to them in my own words. And, I'm always going to still try to, like, I'm always gonna still try to serve. I'm gonna message back with the voicemail. I always message back with voice now. Bro, I'm one of the few entrepreneurs in this industry or in the country that will just hit you back like with the voice, like, what's up, bro? Yeah, let's do this, let's do that. Yeah, let's do, and God willing that I always am that person. If I'm that person now, I'm gonna tell you this. I think I'm gonna be that person for the rest of my life, God willing.
Yeah. And this would be the last thing I mentioned regarding that, because I'll be honest with you. I messaged a lot of people that don't even do the numbers you guys do, and I got no response, right? And
It is what it is, bro.
Like I said,
It is.
Call you right away.
That,
Let's do it, bro. No hesitation. It's like, you were openly willing to help. So I wanted to, finish.
I'm honestly, bro, I'm serving. I'm not helping. I'm serving. And when you serve, you already know what happens, bro. Try this, man. For the rest of your life, try serving first. You know how a lot of folks out there are takers, take. Always try serving. Hey, bro, if you need anything, let me know. I'm here. Anybody you ever come across, if you want to build a business relationship or even just a friendship, try serving. Try serving first. Don't worry about what that person can do for you. Try serving that person and you will see what happens to your life. And try do things for people that can't do anything for you. There's a possibility that you can potentially not ever do anything for me, right?
Right.
But this is what makes this so special, is because I will serve you even though you can't do anything for me.
Right. That's
and maybe, but then again, maybe you can. You see, that door is open. You don't understand how many times that I have served and I didn't ask anything. And then all of a sudden, like, this guy brings a deal to me and I help him. And he's like, oh, here you go, man. Thank you for help. Like, bro, I mean, this is the way the world works. This is the way God works, man. So try serving first.
That's some great advice. I'm gonna ask you just a few more questions, let you go, because I know you're a busy guy. Any book recommendations you recommend that kind of had a real good impact on your life?
Look, man. So if you're just getting, do you know who Nick Reese is?
Yes.
That he's coming to our event, Momentum, in February 22nd. This guy's a beast. This guy's a mental beast, right? This guy's crazy. Like, I mean, you think I do well? Yeah, I may kill him in certain areas, but his mindset, bro, is ridiculous, right? I learned a lot from that guy, man. Like, I was talking to him yesterday for 30 minutes. You know what I mean? Like, I learned so much from that dude, man. I really have a lot of love for that guy. I read a book called Flip by Nick Ruiz. It's called Flip. It's a $10 book on Amazon. If you're a new beginner, I would do the following. I would read Flip by Nick Reese. I would buy Alex Sainz's course, because I saw him complete that course the last quarter of 2018. So I know it's a very updated course. You know how you buy a course and it's like, oh my God, this is from 10 years ago, right?
Right.
So that's not the case for Alex. I would buy his course. I would read Flip. And then when it comes to the programming side of things, that's the real estate side of things. When it comes to the programming side of things, I would do Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker, bro.
It's a great book. I do have that book.
And in your case, I would probably do Traction. If you're building a business,
I just got that.
I would do Traction. On the spiritual side, I would do Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill.
Yeah, I read that book twice. That book is a game.
It's freaky. It's freaky, but it's powerful.
It's a great book. So we're gonna end this here. So where can people connect with you?
Carlos at nationalcashoffer.com. My IG, my Facebook. I mean, you name it. I'm there.
Yeah, I'm gonna have the links below. So again, I want to thank you, Carlos. Really, it was a good time.